Welcome to ESL Trackside. We are at Daytona International Speedway. This is gonna be a new show that I'll be doing once a week, and we'll just go around the league, talk about some news that's going on, and anything that's important. And we'll be live at the track every week, whatever track that is on the schedule for next gen. Right now, the show is going to be focusing on the next gen series. Eventually, I'll bring in more series as I get more situated, get the leagues more situated. So it's gonna be exciting season. I'm looking forward to what's to come. If any of you saw the duels were great. You know, Duel 1, Stuart Zomilia, he won that duel. Duel 2, Berto Demora, he won Duel 2. So, and it was action packed. So I expect no less this week at Daytona. We might have a big one. Who knows what happens at Daytona? Maybe somebody runs out of fuel. We just don't know what's going to happen in Daytona. It really is a crapshoot. You really don't know. You know, you definitely need some luck on your side. It's not all about speed. You need drafting partners. You need, teammates to help you out. You know, and hopefully at the end, you're running towards the front just to have a chance. So let's talk about a little news, a little league news here. I want to just go quickly over the league tiers. Um, we have 4 tiers in Oval. And tier A is Next Gen. Tier B is ARCA. Tier C is Late Model. And Tier D is your Modified. Your Modified series is where any new drivers that come in, rookies, they're gonna start at that tier. There is no more jumping straight to certain series. For new drivers, they're gonna have to start in tier D and work their way up. It's just how the ladder system works. The same is gonna go for multi-class. There's 2 tiers there, tier A and tier B, and the same applies for that. Any rookies and new drivers, they're gonna go into that tier. Also, if you leave the server and come back, you just lost any work you put into your driver. You're gonna have to start in the rookie tiers and work your way up again. Now, if you retire and you don't leave the server and come back, then you start exactly where you left off. Um, the progression schedule. The progression schedule is going to stay exactly the same as last season. You're going to progress all the way until week 10. You get to save, just like last season. You save 2 weeks. You get points to use. You can either use your points every week or save and then use your points. But you will progress all the way to week 10, just like last season. That will be the last week. We do have a 12-week schedule, but progression will end on week 10. For week 11, owners will have to progress their drivers. If you're on a team, they'll be able to progress you. And that depends if the owner wants to progress you. Um, Maybe depending on funds or if you're in contention. It all depends what the owner thinks. There's a lot of scenarios that can play out if they progress you, in order for them to decide if they're going to progress you or not. So that is the progression schedule. If you have any questions about that, hit me up. Anything I talk about right now, just DM me if you have any questions. The progression days will be Thursday. They open up Thursday morning and close Sunday night. That'll be every week, Thursday morning through Sunday night. And I'll put all this info out as well. Um, so those will be the progression days. The point scoring. Point scoring is going to be the same. For ARCA late model and modifieds and multi-class, it's going to be just points like last season. Um, for the oval, for um, late models, ARCA and modifieds, it's just straight up points. There is no stages. So um, whoever has the most points at the end wins the championship. So that's going to be the same throughout those 3 series and multi-class as well. It's just straight up points. For NASCAR, for next gen, however, it's different. There will be a playoff system for the next gen series. The top 6, there'll be 16 drivers that make it into the playoff. There will be a playoff that starts at week 9. I'll pop up the schedule here. So these are the first 8 races. So there is 16 spots. Be 16 drivers that can make the playoffs. In order to make the playoffs, there's 2 ways you can make the playoffs. You could either win a race or you get in by points. If you win a race in one of the first 8 races, you automatically lock yourself into the playoffs. So if you win, you're in. That part is pretty simple. Now, if you don't win, say it's week 6, and you're like, man, my season sucks. I'm like 20th, or like 15, 14. And you probably chances of winning a races are slim. You can get in by points. So points is gonna be, it's gonna be very important. Like, getting stage points, being consistent in your finishes. You're gonna still get points for that. So even if you're not having a great season and you're kind of low on the standings, points might get you in. But if you get a win, in the next 2 races before week 9, and you're just locked in. So, wins are going to be very important as well. But they're both going to be important, really. Points or getting a win. But a win is definitely the easy way in. If you win, doesn't matter how you finish in points. I mean, stage points will be important for playoff purposes, but I'll put a breakdown of how the points work and the playoffs points are going to work and all that in the Discord. I'll put that info out soon. I'm just working on the writing on that. And yeah, so how the playoffs work, there's 16 drivers. After each race is basically a process of elimination. After race 9, we're going to go down to 12 drivers. After race 10, we're going to go down to 8 drivers. After race 11, we're going to go down to 4 drivers. And the last 4 drivers are going to race in week 12. Whatever driver finishes the highest in that race will be crowned your champion, your season 8 champion. So that's how the playoffs is going to work. It's definitely different from what we've done for a very long time since the league has started. So it's going to make for a great and exciting season with all these different scenarios and how to possibly win a championship. There's going to be 2 roads that you have. Also for the playoffs, if you win, say you win week 9 and you're in the playoffs, you automatically secure a spot you automatically, secure yourself a spot for the next round, basically. It won't matter the points. So if you win, you automatically advance to week 10. If you don't win, then it's going to be, the top 12 in points get in, they move on. So winning is going to be important. So you want to get a win in the playoffs. That'll be your best chance of advancing each week. Um, so that'll be how the playoff works for your Barber Ford Next Gen series. All right, back to race days. Let's talk about race days. Race days will probably be, this depends on my schedule, but race days are going to be any days between probably Wednesday and Saturday. It's really going to be fluid week to week, depending on when I can run these races. But for those that like to pre-plan, Wednesday through Saturday is the best I can kind of tell you of when I'm going to run the races. I'm not sure yet if it's going to be the same days for each series or not, but I'll let you guys know kind of what I decide on that. All right, back to Next Gen. Next Gen power rankings going into week 1. These are your top 10 drivers heading into the start of the season. Justin Chris, your season 7 champion, is your number 1 driver from Northern Lights Racing. He is rated at a 95. That is his rating. Andrew Green is second from the Brew Crew. He is rated at a 90. Doug Britton from Northern Lights Racing. He's rated at an 87. Stuart Zomilia, 4th. Apex Predator Racing. He's rated at a 79. 5th, Merle McGuire from the Brew Crew, rated at a 66. 6th is Gunny McGuire, Brew Crew, rated at a 56. 7th is CJ Slava, owner of Can-Am Racing. He decided to bring the team back. He is rated at 47. 8th, Lotus Lee from Low Fuel Racing. He is rated at a 32. 9th, Billy Sauter from Apex Predator Racing. He is rated at a 28. And 10th is Odion Muldoon. He's the owner of Delusions of Grandeur. He is rated at a 27. So how these ratings work for the power rankings, it's a combination of polls, wins, top 5s, top 10s, stage points, season points, your average finish. It's a formula that calculates everything for me, and that is how drivers get their ratings in the power rankings. So those are your top 10 drivers. As you can see, 3 of those top 5 have won a championship in a NASCAR series. So you need to bring your A game every week in this series. It is no joke. These guys work hard to have the best possible build they can have, best possible setup in their car, and it shows every season. That's why these guys are top in the top 5. And honestly, any of these drivers are very good. CJ Slava in Xfinity, he was so dominant one season, a few seasons back. So I mean, there's some really good drivers here, and the Brew Crew, they have 3 drivers in here. They always are very good in NASCAR series. I expect nothing less this season. We'll see how everything shakes out. It's a new car. Who knows what's going to happen? So it's going to be very interesting. That is for sure. Let's go back. Let's go back on track. As you can see, the practice session is over. It's showing Billy Sauter as the number 1 driver with the fastest lap. I mean, you can't put too much stock into these lap times because some of these drivers were drafting around the track, some weren't. So depending if they were drafting or not, they might have a faster time than another driver. So can't really put too much into these numbers. On a different track, I would say otherwise, but on a super speedway, there's more to it than just speed at this track. So um, we'll see what happens once the season starts. I'm looking forward to seeing what everyone can do on the track. I know everybody's ready to go. I'm ready to go. I know the teams are ready to go. It's been quite a long off season, and I'm definitely ready to hit the track. So, yeah, keep a lookout for ESL Trackside. I'll be posting this show once a week, and if anybody wants to get on the show, shoot me a DM, and maybe we could set something up and get you on the show, and you could talk about anything you want to talk about. And yeah, just let me know. But I appreciate you watching the show, and this is JV, and I'll see you guys next time.